Check one, two. Recording in progress.
right, good morning. This is the May 15th, 2025 Placer County Zoning Administrator. I am Stacy Wydra, and I'll be your hearings officer for today's hearing. And the first item on today's agenda is public comment. Now is an opportunity for you to comment on anything that is not on today's agenda. So if you would like, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record. I don't see any swift actions. Okay, so I will go ahead and close public comment. And so just so everyone understands how the process works, because I'm going to dive into the action items next, I will go to staff for their report, and then I will go to the applicant for any questions or comments or presentation that they might like to present. And then I will go to the public. And I will open it up for public comment for you to have the opportunity to comment on that item that we are considering at that time. And then after that, I will close the public hearing and I will take action on the item. So with that, I am going to proceed with the first item on the agenda, which is the T-Mobile monopole facility co-location administrative review permit. And I am going to turn it over to Ms. Becker for planning's presentation.
Good morning. My name is Christy Becker, and I'm presenting the T-Mobile Monopole Facility Colocation Administrative Review Permit, known as PLN 2400393. This project is being proposed on behalf of T-Mobile in the cell tower owner, Midpoint Towers LLC, for approval of an administrative review permit to co-locate at an existing wireless telecommunications monopine facility. This project is located at 7265 River Road. It's in the Truckee area, and it is adjacent to Highway 89 and is zoned for single-family residential. T-Mobile proposes to extend the original permitted 115-foot tall stealth monopine to 125 feet. The property is developed with an existing residential property. This project was continued from the February 20th, 2025 zoning administrator hearing in consideration of a possible ownership dispute. Since the February 20th, 2025 zoning administrator hearing, Planning Services staff has received a lease agreement from the applicant. The lease agreement was reviewed by County Council and determined that Midpoint Towers has rights to make modifications to the existing cellular facility. With the ownership question resolved, the item was rescheduled to the May 15th, 2025 zoning administrator hearing. Since then, 4 public comments have been received, all from members associated with the residential property, with the following concerns, such as asking to conduct an environmental survey or environmental review. Staff has determined this is categorically exempt from CEQA under 1 and 3 exemptions. Asking for the item to be continued as they are unable to attend. Objection from the property owner as they did not request for this cellular modification. Staff is not recommending a continuance due to County Council's findings in the lease. This item was properly noticed, and the applicant, through the existing lease, has the right to proceed with this project. Although there is a backup generator on site, the permit is not proposing any new hazardous material usage. Thank you.
Thank you. And environmental health.
Good morning, Ms. Wydra. Environmental Health has no objections to their request, subject to our conditions listed in the staff report.
Thank you. And can I ask you a quick question? Did you consider the existing propane tank and?
I am not aware of any existing propane associated with the cell site. There may be propane for the home that Environmental Health doesn't have records of, and that would not be subject to any requirements with our division. They do have an existing diesel generator on site, which is subject to normal handling and storage conditions.
Excuse me, sorry. So the diesel generator for the cell tower is compliant with Environmental Health's?
Correct, and it is existing.
Great, thank you. And then we'll go to Monica Miskermanos, engineering and surveying on the TV screen.
Engineering and Surveying has no additional comments and supports this project, subject to the conditions in the staff report.
Great, thank you. Is the applicant or representative, hi, would you like to come on up, and do you have any questions or comments or? Oh, can you hit the oh, there you go. Oh, miraculously hit it. You're good.
Okay, my name is Philip Thomas. I'm with Precision Site Development. We are the representatives of T-Mobile. I have nothing to add, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, and you received the staff report?
Correct.
And all the public correspondence that we received
Correct.
relative to the objections from the landowner of which you are occupying? Okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now I will open it up to public comment. So anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this project, now is your time to come on up to the podium.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Yeckel. I apologize for not knowing the procedural stuff around here. I am one of the property owners at this cabin. It's a family retreat that we have bordering Tahoe National Forest, and it actually spans Pole Creek, the forest. It's a protected waterway. Anyhow, our objections to it being higher are that they keep saying it's a stealth tree, and yet it pollutes all over the place. I mean, there's a lot of plastic debris that never gets picked up. I'm the one who has to go fix the ruts in the driveway. I sent a bunch of pictures. You can see like I actually stopped there this morning, and you can just see that there's like plastic needles all over the property. And the further you get away, I sent pictures of like over by our cabin. There's a few dispersed in a couple of square feet, but then right by the cabin, they're every couple inches. And so you're just going to disperse more the higher that they go. The workers showing up, tearing up the driveway is unscheduled, trying to camp. I mean, we've been trying to get them off of the property because they're unresponsive to our request every time they want a contract signed. They're good, but we don't have a signed current contract because we're just waiting for it to expire in 15 years and let it go. We didn't know what we were doing when we let my aunt negotiated the terms or the actual location of the tower. We didn't know that. But I do know that I should have got a hold of the National Forest because Pole Creek is a protected breeding ground from the Houghton Cutthroat to the Truckee River. You can't fish anything there. And they're probably getting more needles than we're getting at our cabin because of the location of the tower. Yeah, not to mention you can bring in the electromagnetic radiation. There's where the utilities, this is outside of their actual leased area, the utilities area. It's like a metal plate in the ground as it's concrete. It's just all broken up. It's a big tripping hazard. Nobody wants to address that. And then, yeah, we would like the environmental review. It's a protected waterway on national forest land where people go skiing all year long. They cut through our property. We go up there to unplug. We don't want any more electromagnetic radiation. We don't have Wi-Fi or television. It really is a natural retreat. Yeah, I just feel like it's really an intrusive thing, but I did send some photos. You can see the color of how stealth it is if you want to see it from a tree line. You can see the needles dispersed on the ground, how close they are. You can see how torn up the driveway is. We vehemently oppose any kind of addition and more construction. The higher it goes, I mean, it's just going to push needles further and further. They don't come up and pick up the PVC branches when they come outside of their stuff. So I don't know much about that. Anyhow, that's my position on it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else that would like to comment on this?
Good morning. My name is Mary Helen Briscoe, and my parents, Willard and Catherine Briscoe, bought the property originally. So although I'm not anymore an owner, I speak for the owners, and I know there's fear of safety from raising the height of the monopole 10 more feet, which is quite a bit. It can already be seen from the road to stick out above the trees around it. So there's a fear of bending, breaking, sparking, and we are backed onto the Tahoe National Forest, the land is. And as Gabriel said, there's a creek running through it. And we feel that this situation calls for an environmental review because of the debris, the plastic, and what might happen. So I am here on behalf of the owners to say they would like an environmental review. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else in the?
Hi, my name is Dorian Stull, and I'm an owner, and I object on the grounds that I don't believe this should qualify for an environmental review because it's not a small project. The tower is lit up, it has propane on it, it can, with the increasing threat of fires and other things, it could be potentially dangerous. And I think we deserve to know that it's being implemented safely. That, I mean, 10 feet when you're already 125 feet in the air is not a small project, in my view. So the other thing is, Tahoe National Forest is behind us, the Pole Creek, the Truckee River, and Highway 89 all intersect in this one spot. I mean, which is probably why they chose it for the tower. But it's not that I'm trying to object. I would like to see an environmental impact review. Hopefully this is possible. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on the T-Mobile monopole facility? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. And okay, so I am going to go ahead and actually ask one clarifying question. Ms. Becker, when County Council reviewed the lease, they reviewed it for compliance for operation of the cell tower, correct?
That is correct. You can
Okay.
also refer to Ms. Cruiser here for further questions.
Yeah, I just want to confirm, County Council, that there's nothing that we're in conflict with taking action on this item as it relates to the lease agreement.
Yes, Ms. Wydra, based on County Council's review and our understanding of the lease terms and the parties to the lease, it does allow the project to proceed both with the construction aspect of it and the operation of the cell tower.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Spector, I want to just double check that I read the staff report correctly, that the original cell tower that was approved in 2009 was originally allowed for a height of 120 feet, but it was only constructed to a height of 115 feet. Is that correct?
That is correct. It was
Okay.
originally permitted for a height of 120
Okay,
and
so
allowed for that, but was only built to 115 feet.
Okay, so today's consideration of the administrative review permit is to essentially extend 5 more feet than what was originally approved back in 2009.
That
at
is
the
correct.
120 feet, but they elected to only construct it to 115, so essentially it is a 10-foot height increase to existing conditions today. Is that, do I have
Correct.
that correct? Okay. Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's comments today and staff's presentation. And I am going to go ahead and approve the administrative review permit for the 10-foot height increase of the existing 115-foot monopine. This is in accordance with section 17.56.030 of our zoning ordinance, which does allow for these types of modifications and/or cell tower improvements. And it is in compliance with that zoning ordinance section, but it also is in compliance with federal law. So we have to ensure that we are also adhering the federal law as it relates to telecommunications. But I am also going to determine that this project be categorically exempt from CEQA per section 18.36.030 Class 1 and section 18.36.050 Class 3 of the California Environmental Quality Act, in that this is an existing tower that exists today. There is really no ground disturbance or improvements to the site relative. It's the increase of the cell tower that exists today. However, I strongly encourage that the lease holder works with the property owners relative to these pollutants that have been addressed today. And, you guys, that's not a county-related item that I can otherwise discuss or require. But I do strongly encourage that you guys work together to work out these items that were addressed today. So thank you very much. That concludes.
Ms. Wydra, before you conclude, perhaps you could provide some clarification if the approval is subject to the recommended conditions of approval.
Oh, yes, thank you, sorry. I got a little wrapped up in wanting to define my CEQA action. Yes, thank you, Ms. Cruiser. So also, my action in approving the administrative review permit is also subject to the conditions of approval that are contained in the staff report. Also, I wanted to mention that my decision is appealable, and there is a 10-day appeal period. Since we did receive public comments on this request, there is a 10-day appeal period before this decision becomes final. If anyone disagrees with my decision here today or feels that they have been adversely affected, they can file an appeal of my decision, and my decision will be set aside until such time that the appeal can be heard by the Planning Commission. Should an appeal be filed, it will be subject to the appeal filing fee of $752. So that concludes that item, and I am now going to move on to the 1010 item, which is the Berry front setback. And I'll allow staff to switch at the table.
Musical chairs here.
Thank you, Ms. Wydra. The applicant and property owner, Chris Berry.
Hold on, Jared. I didn't. Did I introduce the item? I don't think I did. Hold on. You're doing good, though. So I am. I'm going to introduce the 1010 item for the Berry front setback variance, PLN 25-00077. And Ms. Peters, take it away.
Thank you, Ms. Wydra. The applicant and property owner, Chris Berry, requests approval of a variance to allow the construction of a 1,500 square foot shop and 2 attached covered carports consisting of 700 square feet and 600 square feet, to be located 30 feet from the edge of a 40-foot road easement on the west property line, where a setback of 50 feet is normally required. The proposed project is categorically exempt from the environmental review in accordance with sections 15303 and 15305 of the California Environmental Quality Act, guidelines, and Placer County Code section 183650 for class 3 new construction of or conversion of small structures, and 183670 class 5 minor alterations in land use limitations, because the proposed construction of a shop is an exempt project under class 3, and adjusting the setback is an exempt action under class 5 that would not result in the creation of any new parcels. The subject property comprises approximately 5.1 acres, is currently zoned farm, combining minimum parcel size of 20 acres, and is located at 6200 Prairie Way in the unincorporated Lincoln area. The general plan land use designation of the site is agriculture timberland, 20 acre minimum. The site is bound to the south by Prairie Way and to the west by Maverick Lane. Development is focused within the southern portion of the property and consists of a home, accessory structures, and agricultural structures. A small orchard is also located in the south of the property. The area proposed for the shop is currently improved as a 5,000 square foot rock pad used to store private vehicles. The northern section of the parcel has been mapped by the Placer County Conservation Program as vernal pool complex, indicating the potential for sensitive vernal pool habitat to exist on the northern section of the parcel. There are currently no structures constructed in the VPC area or vernal pool complex area, and the area has been known to flood during the rainy seasons. There are several circumstances that limit the buildable area of the site, including these flooding concerns, the location of existing developments, the presence of sensitive habitat, and the parcel having 2 front setbacks. Staff visited the site and observed minor flooding and pooling around the area identified on the site plan. Photos were taken of the flooded area and were attached to the staff report. Due to the site fronting 2 roads and exceeding 100,000 square feet in size, it has 2 front setbacks, one on the western and one on the southern property lines. Most surrounding parcels front 1 road as such, and only have 1 front setback. Only one other parcel in the vicinity has 2 setbacks. That parcel is located to the south of the subject parcel and is 10.2 acres in size, roughly twice the size of the subject parcel. The proposal would set the front of the proposed structure at 30 feet from edge of easement, equivalent to a side or street side setback in the applicable zone district. Pushing the structure further back would require removing established trees behind the proposed structure. The parcel would not exceed the 25, or this project, the parcel, if approved, would not exceed the 25% coverage limit for the farm zone district. And furthermore, the parcel is over 4.6 acres, and therefore it has no limit to the total square footage of residential accessory structures. Locating the structure in the proposed location would avoid further land conversion of natural and potential farmland, as it would almost entirely fall on an area that is already already covered by impervious surface and is used for vehicle storage. The proposed location of the structure would be in line with the general plan's policies to preserve natural land cover, sensitive habitat by reusing an area already converted from natural and avoiding the VPC area to the north. The project was noticed in line with state and county requirements. Staff received 1 standard comment letter from PG&E. In reviewing the materials presented in the project application and the physical attributes of the project site, staff has determined that the findings required to grant the approval of a variance can be made and supports the requested entitlements. Staff recommends that the zoning administrator take action to approve the Berry variance, subject to making the necessary findings and approval of the recommended conditions of approval. I'm available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. And Environmental Health.
Environmental Health supports staff's recommendation, subject to our condition of approval listed in the staff report.
Thank you. And Engineering and Surveying.
Thank you, Ms. Wydra. Engineering and Surveying supports staff's recommendation with the conditions listed in the staff report. I'm available if you have any questions.
Great, thank you. And is the applicant or owner here that would like to speak on behalf of their project? Okay, Mr. Peters, okay. All right, I will go ahead and open it up to public comment. Is anyone here for the Berry front setback variance request? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment, and I'm going to take action on the requested Berry front setback variance, PLN 25-00077. And I'm going to approve the requested setback of 30 feet from the edge of the 40-foot road easement, whereas a setback of 50 feet is normally required. And I'm also going to determine it to be categorically exempt from CEQA per section 15303 and section 18.36.050 class 3. And since we did receive public comment from PG&E, is that correct?
Correct, 1 standard comment letter.
Okay, so unfortunately, since we did receive a public comment, there is an appeal period. My decision is appealable, and should PG&E wish to file an appeal, they have to apply through online and through the county with a filing fee of $752. So with that, I will be moving on to our next item, which is scheduled for 10:20, and I'll allow for staff change. And we'll let Mr. Dobbs get situated. And I will go ahead and introduce the 10:20 item, which is the consideration for Grace Park minor use permit, PLN 23-00217. And Mr. Dobbs?
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Wydra. This will be real quick. As you mentioned, this item is the Grace Park minor use permit. The applicant has requested to kind of push this item to the end of today's agenda after the parcel review committee items. They have one of their team members that they'd like to be here for when the item is heard. I don't know if that inconveniences anyone in the public here, but if that's possible.
Oh, you're here?
Okay.
We can go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yep, we're gonna do. Okay.
Thank you. Again, good morning, Mr. Wydra, Patrick Dobbs, Planning Services Division. This is the Grace Park minor use permit. The site is located in District 5 in the Auburn-Bowman Community Plan. The project area includes 2 properties. Both of the properties are owned by Auburn Grace Community Church. The majority of the park improvements are proposed on an undeveloped property that's located at 3120 Desiree Drive. But the project area also includes the existing Auburn Grace Community Church site and a pedestrian connection to that, which is adjacent and located at 3126 Olympic Way. Both these properties are on the south side of Bell Road, just about 3/4 of a mile west of the intersection of Highway 49. The land use, the community plan land use designation is rural, low-density residential, 0.9 to 2.3 acre minimums, and low, medium-density residential, 2 to 5 dwelling units per acre. The site is also split zone. There's residential single-family, combining agricultural, combining minimum building site of 43,000 square feet, combining aircraft overflight on part of the project area. And there's also an area that is residential multifamily, combining design review, combining aircraft overflight, combining planned development of 5 units per acre. The surrounding development is primarily single-family residential. There's single-family across Bell Road to the north and to the west across Desiree Drive, as well as to the east across Olympic Way, and immediately to the southwest. There are assisted living facilities to the northeast. There's a commercial gymnastics facility immediately east. And as I said, the Auburn Grace Community Church is southeast of the project or the park parcel. The proposed land use, which is parks and playgrounds, is a permissible use within the applicable single-family residential and multifamily residential zoning, subject to approval of a minor use permit. The community park would include outdoor recreation and social facilities. There's children's play apparatuses, a sports field for soccer and baseball. There's bocce ball and pickleball courts. There's an event stage for social and musical events. There's walking paths and picnic areas, community garden area, restrooms, and some minimal outdoor lighting. Vehicle ingress and egress would be provided via a new gated driveway and parking lot from Bell Road. The public would also be able to access from the park from overflow parking, which is via a new sidewalk connection to the Auburn Grace Community Church located on Olympic Way. There's also a gated emergency vehicle access that would be located off Desiree Drive. However, there's no public parking or no public access available from Desiree Drive. All activities of the park would be conducted during daylight hours. The park would be closed from sunset to sunrise. Construction activities include mass grading of the site. The road would be widened along part of the frontage along Bell Road. There's infrastructure improvements, including encasing and undergrounding a portion of the on-site portion of the Nevada Irrigation District, Combi Over Canal, as well as municipal sewer and water connections. Staff has prepared an initial study and mitigated negative declaration pursuant to CEQA. This is included as attachment D. The mitigated negative declaration was circulated for 30 days between March 13th and April 14th of this year. There were 4 comment letters received on the environmental document, all from public agencies. The letters from Caltrans, PG&E, and the Regional Water Quality Control Board were standard form type letters that outline the general requirements of those agencies. The comments received from the Nevada Irrigation District are included as attachment C. They outline several project-specific conditions that have been incorporated into the recommended conditions of approval. Following public review of the mitigated negative declaration, the Environmental Review Committee did prepare an erratum for the project's mitigated negative declaration. After determining that references to the applicant needed to obtain a potential future temporary conditional use permit or temporary outdoor event permit would not apply to Grace Park should this minor use permit be approved and the project implemented. The erratum clarifies that these are really minor technical corrections, but the change in use from a vacant parcel to an approved public assembly site upon completion, they would not be subject to the permitting requirements of section 1756-300 regarding the temporary uses and events. So that was the erratum. Staff is recommending approval of the project. The hearing for today was properly noticed. The site was properly posted. I'm not aware of any public comments we've received leading up to today's hearing. There is one change I would like to read in the record. This is regarding recommended condition of approval number 74. This is regarding fire access. And it is the first bullet, and it currently reads fire access width shall be 20 feet wide. Current width of for the park EVA is 8 feet wide. If 20 feet is not feasible, Placer County Fire will allow a 10-foot wide with turnouts every 400 feet. Turnouts shall be 12 feet wider than the road for a total of 22 feet. The turnout shall be 30 feet long, and 30 foot long width, 25 foot tapers at each end. Show the EVA on the site plan. So that's what the condition currently says today. Sorry, I fumbled through that. But we'd like to add the language to that first bullet. Placer County Fire will waive this condition if an access point turnaround is created at the EV gate off Desiree Drive. The turnaround will need to be 40-foot radius. If that isn't feasible, Placer County Fire will need a hammerhead style turnaround. The hammerheads shall be 10 feet wide and 60 feet long at the top of the T. The 60 feet can be shortened due to proximity of the property line, as long as the length is from the property line to the top of the sidewalk. Sorry, that was an awkward thing to read in the record. So with that change, based on the analysis in the staff report and the mitigated negative declaration, staff does recommend the zoning administrator adopt the mitigated negative declaration in erratum and approve the minor use permit for the Grace Park based on the findings contained in the staff report and subject to the recommended conditions of approval in attachment B as modified with that condition 74 that I just read. And thank you. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Dobbs. And Ms. Pullman from Environmental Health.
Yes, Environmental Health supports staff's recommendation, subject to the conditions in the staff report.
Great, thank you. And Engineering and Surveying.
Thank you, Ms. Wydra. Engineering and Surveying supports staff's recommendation with the conditions listed in the staff report. I'm available if you have any questions.
Great, thank you. And I understand the applicants are here. So would you like to come up and present, or if you have any questions? I want to ask that you received the staff report and the conditions of approval.
We did.
Okay, great. So if you could state your name for the record.
Sure. Kevin Ziegenmeyer. I am a member of Auburn Grace Community Church. I also serve on the board at Auburn Grace, helping as we seek the entitlements that brings us here today. Thank you to Patrick and his team. Everyone's been helpful in putting momentum behind this project, and we appreciate that. He summarized essentially what we hope to offer. We want to engage with our neighbors. We know that we have seniors very proximate, as Patrick mentioned, and beyond that we have, for the ambulatory senior community, an age-qualified project. So the notion is a multi-generational offering to the community, from the very youngest of our neighbors to our super seniors. The notion to be able to position seniors throughout the park so they can observe the play and activities of the young. The community garden, the notion behind that would be that we can create an opportunity for an organic garden, and those interested in the community and saving on their groceries, just an outreach. All of this with the intent to engage the community. We want neighbors to meet neighbors. We want to meet our neighbors. We hope to use those in our hospitality team for Auburn Grace to offer at maybe a sporting event some cheap hot dogs and drinks. So again, we're just fostering a situation where those in Auburn, their family and friends, can gather and develop their relationships. Jeremy can introduce himself, and he's also an advocate and also a consultant, and I'll let him elaborate.
Thanks. I'm Jeremy Adams, also a member of the church. I've just been helping Kevin and the elder board and the team through the environmental process, and I'm just here to answer any questions if any come up that maybe Kevin needs some support with.
Yeah, I do have one question. I just want to make sure that you understood the modification to condition number 74 from the fire department and those improvements that would need to be constructed on site. Is that a condition you can comply with? And
Yeah, we appreciate the effort that Patrick put in with the fire marshal to get to the last iteration he just referenced this morning. That came about this morning, and that's workable.
It was part of our request, actually, so super helpful work with Patrick and the fire marshal to get that updated today.
great. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up to public comment, but I may ask you to come back up to answer any questions that may come up as a result of public comment.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so with that, I am going to open it up to public comment. Anyone that would like to speak on the Grace Park minor use permit, please come on up and state your name for the record. Are you guys together?
Yeah,
Or-
we're neighbors.
We live, yeah.
We live on Deseret.
I literally butt up to.
Okay, hold on. Usually we do one at a time,
Okay.
but if you would like to share your 3 minutes,
It's
that's
just
fine.
We're just moral support.
Okay,
I'll talk and
I
she's just here with
appreciate
me.
that.
Okay, thanks.
But if one of you, whoever would like to
Sure.
speak, or you both can speak, just I
Okay.
need your names for the
Okay,
record.
Amanda Hardman, and I live on Deseret. We both do, but as a resident of this neighborhood, I want to share the concerns that many of us have regarding the proposed park and amphitheater. While we understand the value of public spaces, we are deeply worried about the increased noise levels, especially from the large events in the amphitheater, and the added light pollution that will impact our homes at night. If the park is intended to be closed at sunset, it raises the question of why extensive outdoor lighting is even necessary, especially when it would contribute to unnecessary light pollution in our residential area. We are also already affected by noise from the church when they rent out their facilities on weekends, and with the amphitheater being much closer to our homes, we are concerned that this will significantly worsen the issue. Traffic and parking overflow on our narrow residential street is another serious concern, as our infrastructure was never intended to support the volume that such a venue would bring. On top of that, the construction process itself will disrupt our daily lives for months, bringing constant noise, debris, and unwanted junk into our neighborhood. It is important to remember that this property, and I know there's two separate areas, I'm talking just about the property on Deseret, that it is zoned for residential housing, not for a park or entertainment venue for a reason. It was designated this way to preserve the quiet, family-oriented nature of our community. The specific address in question was also intended to be the site of a home, not a large public park with an amphitheater and parking lot. Changing this zoning would set a troubling precedent and dramatically alter the character of our neighborhood. Additionally, there are valid concerns about the park attracting transient populations, which impacts safety and quality of the lives for our own children and families nearby. We believe this issue needs to be thoroughly addressed before moving forward for zoning. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Is there anyone else that would like to comment on the Grace Park minor use permit?
Hi there. My name is Mark Riffey, and I live in unincorporated Placer County up here in North Auburn. I live off Atwood Road, which is about a little over a mile from the location of this park. And I'm here today to encourage you to support the proposed project as designed. The park will be a central hub for the community. The park will draw visitors from all over the region, including those from the local senior communities and some of our lower income housing districts, as well as those that live out in the county where these facilities are not present. A recent study I read about showed that 20% of North Auburn population are kids under the age of 14, and 25% are those adults like me that are over 55 years old. These age groups need a place to go where they and their families can feel safe. This park will provide all residents, regardless of age or income, with access to a variety of activities and top-notch facilities. The park will provide a safe and accessible area for families and individuals of all generations to play or just relax and enjoy the beautiful environment. The park will be a major contributor to the beautification on that section of Bell Road, thereby directly impacting and improving the property values of the surrounding neighborhoods. The park will draw visitors from outside the immediate neighborhoods, also having a direct impact in improving the economy on our local business community. The park will have a positive influence on future investors in the region, whether that be residential new construction or additional businesses looking to move into the area, once again having a positive economic impact on our region. The park will also have an impact on the health and well-being of our community. Residents can participate in a number of local activities on the various sporting fields or just simply walk around the trail and get some exercise. It is my understanding this park will be constructed and maintained with minimal or zero impact on the county's budget. So the way I hear it, this park is going to improve the economy of the region, increase the health of our local residents, and provide a safe place for me, my family, and the neighbors to get out into nature at no cost to the county. As a resident, a taxpayer, and a voter, this is the type of project that I will support. I will make sure that my neighbors support, and I hope that you will support as well. Thank you very much for your time.
Is there anyone else that would like to comment on the Grace Park minor use permit? Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. And I have a couple questions, probably primarily for you, Mr. Dobbs. The zoning, I want to confirm that this is not a rezone. The park is a use that is allowed to be considered in the zone districts of which it is located in?
Yes, I can confirm that. Although the speaker was correct in terms of it being designated for residential uses, parks and playgrounds are permissible use within the existing zoning, so there is no rezone proposed.
With the minor use permit?
That's correct.
So the use permit is intended
The use
to
permit
analyze
Yeah,
all of the components of the use that's proposed?
that's
Okay.
correct.
And then my second question is, I am curious about the lighting. If it is to be closed at sunset, and forgive me if I overlooked it, I know there are lighting conditions in the conditions of approval, but if you could expand on what is proposed to be lit, and then we can go from there.
I might need a little help from Jeremy. I mean, I can recall, I don't have the lighting plan right in front of me, but there was some fixtures on the bathroom. I recall some minimal downcast shielded lighting kind of in that parking area, but it was the minimum necessary for public safety, and it wasn't.
So the pickleball courts are not going to be lit, or is that part of the? I did not see it in here, but I just want to confirm.
Jeremy,
Where did the
can
applicants
you help
go?
me with that one? Or can one of you? I don't recall any lighting on the pickleball court. Can you go
if
up
you can
to
come
that?
up to the podium.
The lighting is exclusively for safety and security. It is, just as you profiled, Patrick, designed just to light the path or the parking areas. The ball fields and any of the venues are dawn to dusk. There's no evening play, if you will. So after dusk, all activities would cease at the park. It's a gated point of entry off the south line of Bell. The gate will be locked. Again, the hours of operation dawn to dusk. And so there will be the typical sport field lighting that won't be on site.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. Mr. Dobbs, are you aware of the lighting condition that's in this, in the proposed conditions of approval?
I might need a little help with what number it is. I'm trying.
Well, I'm not sure I'm seeing it. Because what I'd like to do is if we don't have a lighting condition, I would like to add one with my action. So if you are aware of which, and let me keep going here. Okay, I don't see a lighting condition. So I am going to go ahead and close public comment. And I am going to take action on the Grace Park minor use permit, PLN 23-00217. And I'm specifically going to, first I'll do the CEQA component, and I'm going to approve the mitigated negative declaration and the erratum that was prepared per State Clearinghouse number 2025-03-0616, and also adopt the mitigated monitoring reporting program that was all prepared and pursuant of sections 15070 and 15074 of the California Environmental Quality Act. And then I'm also going to approve the Grace Park minor use permit as described in the staff report and subject to the conditions of approval with the modification to condition number 74 as it relates to the fire emergency access and fire truck requirements. And I'm also going to add a condition that lighting, any lighting that is installed shall be limited to security purposes only and shall be shielded downward and in accordance with the lighting standards of the zoning ordinance. There shall be no lighting of the tennis courts or the ball fields. Again, the lighting is limited to that for security purposes along walkways or the restrooms. So specific to just that use of security. So with that, my decision, since we did receive public comment, my decision is appealable, and that there is a 10-day appeal period before my decision becomes final. And if you disagree with my decision here today or feel that you have been adversely affected, you can file an appeal of my decision, and my decision will be set aside until such time that the appeal can be heard by the Planning Commission. Should an appeal be filed, it will be subject to a filing fee of $752, and you can apply for that appeal on our website. So thank you very much for coming. All right. Okay, we'll do a quick switch. We'll give it a second.
Somebody screwed it up this morning.
Okay, good morning. We are now moving on to our 10:30 item, which is the Mountain Shadows Retreat Minor Use Permit and Variance Extension of Time, PLN 20-00210-EOT001. And I'll turn it over to planning for your presentation. Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Good morning, Ms. Wydra. The applicant, Brian Clausen, is requesting approval for a 2-year extension of time for their previously approved minor use permit and variance approved by the zoning administrator on May 19th, 2022. The zoning administrator approved the Mountain Shadows Retreat minor use permit and variance PLN 20-00210 with an original expiration date of June 16, 2025. The minor use permit allowed for the construction of new lodging and accessory structures, reduced setbacks for existing structures, and the operation of a rural retreat named Mountain Shadows Retreat. Since 2020, when the application was first submitted, the property owner has had numerous financial hardships that significantly delayed the project. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Mountain Shadows Retreat was subjected to stringent occupancy regulations. In 2022, the year the project was approved, the retreat was impacted by the Mosquito Fire, which consumed a portion of the property and was used as a staging ground to aid the fire teams. Given these financial constraints, approval of the extension of time will allow the property owner the ability to finish the project that otherwise would have been completed had these hardships not occurred. The project was found to be categorically exempt from CEQA pursuant to provisions of sections 15303 and 15305 of the CEQA guidelines and sections 183650, Class 3 new construction of or conversion of small structures, and 183670, Class 5 minor alterations in land use limitations of the Placer County Code. Staff has received one letter from Dan and Laura Grant in support of the Mountain Shadows extension of time. Staff recommends that the zoning administrator approve the first 2-year extension of time for the Mountain Shadows Retreat PLN 20-00210-EOT001, extending the expiration date to June 16th, 2027. Based upon the findings and recommended conditions of approval, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. And Environmental Health.
Thank you, Ms. Wydra. Environmental Health has no objection to the extension of time. I did just want to note for the record that the application for the extension of time did erroneously state that there would be 32 overnight guests. However, that it is limited to 18 overnight guests as per condition 1 and 2, based on the septic system constraints.
And you said it was 18?
Correct.
And engineering and surveying.
Thank you, Ms. Wydra. Engineering and surveying supports staff's recommendation with the conditions listed in the staff report. I'm available if you have any questions.
Great, thank you. And is the applicant or owner here on behalf of Mountain Shadows? Hi, would you like to come on up? I just want to make sure you've received the staff report, and if you could just state your name for the record.
Yeah, I'm Sina Vandergriff. I manage the property.
And did you
And yes, we did receive the report.
Okay. So thank you. Just stick around in case I have any questions for you as a
Absolutely.
result of public comment.
Okay.
Thank you. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to public comment. Is anyone here on behalf of the Mountain Shadows Retreat? Oh, no. I've opened it up to public comment. So you're the applicant. Yep. All right. Making sure no one's walking in the door. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. And I'm going to go ahead and take action. And I am going to approve the requested 2-year extension of time for the minor use permit and the variance, subject to CEQA, sections 15301, section 18.36.030, class 1. Also, section 15303, and also section 18.36.050, class 3. And also just for clarification for the record, while I'll just state that the approval is for 18 overnight guests only, and that is outlined in condition number 1. With that, oddly, because we did receive public comment, even though it was in support of the project, we do have the applicable appeal period. So if anyone is adversely affected by my decision, you do have a 10-day appeal period to file with the county with a filing fee of $752. So thank you very much for coming, and that concludes that item. So now I am going to move on to our 1035 item. And so we will do a staff change really quick. All right, and so this item is the Mora Design Review, PLN 24-00313, and Mr. Peters. Oh, sorry. Do you have any staff presentation or anything new that I need to be made aware of?
No, nothing
For
here.
the Mora Design Review? Thank you. Forgot we shifted to design reviews. And anything from environmental health or engineering and surveying for the design review? Okay. Is anyone here in the audience I'd like to open up, or no, I'm sorry, the applicant. Is the applicant here that would like to speak on behalf of the Mora Design Review?
Good morning, Mr. Administrator, member of staff. My name is Patrick Mora, architect, and I am the owner. We've been working on this project for a few years and hopefully comply with everything that was required, engineering, solar, everything. But I have one question regarding the conditions of approval. Item 4 requires an application, land conversion application that when I look at it, it involves a lot of biology studies, aquatic, salmon habitats. In reality, the land where these two units are going to be located is a previous rear yard, or 1434, or now 1432 Live Oak Lane. So it's just a plain rear yard. I don't think it'd be any habitats there. There's one tree and mostly grass. So I wanted to ask and see whether I can be exempted from that.
Okay, why don't I do this? We hold your question. I'd like to open it up to public comment to see if anyone else has any items that they would like to have considered today. And then if we don't have any, then I'll come back to you and we can discuss that condition.
Thank you.
And Mr. Peters, if you could be prepared in a little bit to discuss that condition and its requirements and whether or not it could be waived at this time. So I'm going to go ahead and open up public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to comment on the Mora Design Review? Oh, okay. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Bill Kahn, and I'm the neighbor to the east where the driveway goes right through on my property line, and I would be looking right at the duplex. And I'm just wondering about parking. That's going to be maybe 8 people in there. How many cars, where it's going to be. I just don't know what the design is on such a small lot, just under 6,000 square feet. So I'd just like to see all that before we make a decision.
The staff report is online. We do have.
I just got a letter about a week ago,
Okay.
to show up, so I didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah, and on the notice that you received, there should have been a link to our website, which would contain the staff report. You are welcome to take a look at my copy if you'd like. And but it is a duplex, and maybe Jared, you could go into a little bit more of the specifics relative to how the layout and the parking to address.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to comment on the Mora design review? Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave public comment open because after Jared provides a little bit more detail on where the parking is and the design of the duplex, sir, then I would allow for you to come back up and offer any additional public comment that you may have after hearing Mr. Peters' expanded description of the project. So with that, I will turn it back over to Mr. Peters. So two things. So let's talk about the design first and parking and how that is going to be proposed on site. And then we can go into the condition that the owner brought up, Mr. Mora.
Sure. Starting with the parking comments, there's 4 spaces at the front of the units. So rear of the cars would be facing the lane. There's 4 spots, standard size,
And
as
actually,
per zoning
Jared, can
code.
I stop you for 1 second? I'm sorry. But sir, if you'd like to come up, I think it would probably be helpful if you took a look at the site plan while Jared speaks. Yeah, it might help with that. So I'm sorry, Mr. Peters. Go ahead.
Continuing on, just restating what I said, there are 4 spots. There's a space for 4 spots, which meets the requirements of the zoning code for this kind of development. Those spots, we worked with the applicant over a number of submittals to make sure that they met all requirements in the design guidelines as well as in our zoning ordinance for the standard size of a 9x20 parking spot. So they've met all requirements for parking spots.
Okay, and can you expand of what, so just a little bit more on like colors and materials, and that does the project's design comply with our design standards? And
Yeah, the project was reviewed for conformance with the multifamily mixed-use design guidelines. It meets all the standards, follows the guidelines that we have applied to the project based on our published guidelines and standards. So there's no exceptions being made in that sense.
okay, and then also just to confirm that the zoning is multifamily, so a duplex is an allowed use that would be considered
Correct.
within this zone district. Okay. So Mr. Khan, I believe that was your last name. Did you have any further questions or comments that you would like to make on the record as a result of taking a quick look at the site plan and also hearing Mr. Peters' further descriptions? Good, okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. And now, Mr. Peters, I would love to go back to you about condition number 4. Do you have any additional comments or input on that? Perhaps you could explain as to why condition number 4 is required. You can have that copy if you'd like. Yeah. So you.
Land conversion authorization under the Placer County Conservation Project or program is a standard for new projects in the area. Looking at the project files further, it looks like there's a potential for it to be considered non-applicable, given that there is a parcel map in the project history. I think what we can do is strike the condition, which would allow the opportunity for staff and the applicant to review and make sure that we're not forcing them to do something that they may not be required to. I do want to state clearly, though, that striking the condition would not exempt them from it if, on further review, they do fall within the requirements of the Placer County Conservation Program.
Okay, thank you for that suggestion. However, I thank you for that. I am going to go ahead and take action on the design review for Mora, PLN 24-00313. First, I'm going to determine it to be categorically exempt from CEQA per section 15305 and section 18.36.050, class 3. I'm also going to approve the design review for the 2 units or the duplex as described in the staff report and subject to the conditions of approval with the modification to condition number 4, where I am going to add that, so currently the condition reads, prior to project building permit or improvement grading plan approval, whichever is first to disturb ground, it shall be determined whether or not the applicant is required to submit a PCCP CARP land conversion application. And let me read that back. So prior to project building permit or improvement grading plan approval, whichever is first to disturb ground, it shall be determined by staff whether or not the applicant is required to submit a PCCP permit. Okay, so we will keep going. And Mr. Mora, I think that will satisfy your concerns. I'm sorry, I did not come back to you. So, but that is my action. And because there was public comment received today, my decision is appealable. I won't go through the whole spiel again for most of you who've been sitting through it. But it does need to be filed within 10 days and the filing fee of $752 through our county website. So thank you. Thank you all for coming. Okay. So we are going to move on to our 1036 item, the Ophir Road Storage Design Review Modification. And I will turn it over to Mr. Peters again for any new information or anything that should be brought to my attention as a result of, since the staff report was provided.
No new additional information.
Okay. And are the applicants here who, welcome. Hi. You could state your name for the record.
Good morning, ma'am. Brian Baker with Ophir Road Storage, the owner of the property, and here to answer any questions if needed.
And did you get the staff report? And
yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions of the conditions? Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and open up public comment. Is anyone here for the Ophir Road Storage Design Review Modification? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment, and I'm going to go ahead and take action on Ophir Road Storage Design Review Modification, PLN 25-00027. And I am going to approve the design review as submitted, and also determine for the CEQA component that the scope of the modification is within the scope of the previously certified mitigated negative declaration and is consistent with the CEQA findings and consistent with the mitigated negative declaration that was prepared. State Clearinghouse number 2024-050836. And I have found that to be adequate by me, sorry. And it satisfies the CEQA requirements for the consideration of this design review, subject to the findings in the staff report, as well as subject to the conditions of approval. And because no one spoke or provided comments on this item, your appeal fee, or your appeal period has been waived. But if you choose to appeal, I do have to state that for the record, that you've heard my appeal fee spiel. So you may file that on your own if you would like, if you feel adversely affected by my decision. So I'm going to keep moving on. And at this time, I am going to adjourn as the zoning administrator and reconvene as the parcel review committee. And so, oops, sorry, I think we're gonna do a staff change. Okay. Let Ms. Pedri get situated. You good? Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the Arrington Minor Land Division, PLN 23-00195. And Ms. Pedri, if you could make staff's presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Wydra. The subject parcel APN is 032-124-086-000. It is located at 7715 Callison Road in the Penryn area. This parcel is zoned RA-B100. It's residential agriculture combining minimum lot area of 100,000 square feet. This is within the Horseshoe Bar Penryn Community Plan. The applicant, Dean Arrington, is here on behalf of Aaron Arrington, the owner. And Dean is requesting approval of a minor land division to subdivide an 11.45 acre parcel into two separate parcels consisting of 7.36, that would be the resultant parcel A, and 4.09 acres, that would be resultant parcel B. Parcel A is developed with an existing 3,165 square foot single-family residence that has an existing well for water, septic for sewage disposal, one barn, two sheds, 4 accessory buildings, a pond, and a 40-foot water easement along the northeastern corner of Parcel A. Parcel A will also require an easement for access, which would be recorded as part of the minor land division in the COAs. Parcel B is developed with an existing 1,200 square foot single-family residence, 2 barns, 2 sheds. The site also has a well for potable water and septic for sewage disposal. There's also a railroad right-of-way at Callison Road. The Arrington Minor Land Division is exempt from environmental review in accordance with sections 15301 and 15061B3 of the California Environmental Quality Act guidelines and Placer County Code section 18.36.030, Class 1 existing facilities, and section 18.36.020D, common sense exemptions of Placer County Code. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
And Ms. Pullman of Environmental Health.
Yes, Environmental Health supports staff's recommendation, subject to our conditions of approval listed in the staff report.
Great, thank you. And Mr. Alexander from Engineering and Surveying.
Thank you, Ms. Wydra. Engineering and Surveying supports staff's recommendation with the conditions listed in the staff report. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. And is the owner or applicant here today? Hi, welcome.
Hello, my name is Dean Arrington. I'm here on applicant for Aaron, and I'm here to answer any questions if you have some.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. And you don't have any of us at this time? Okay, great. Is there anyone in the public that would wish to provide a comment on this minor land division? Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment, and I'm going to take action on the Arrington Minor Land Division, PLN 23-00195. And I am going to approve it in accordance with the staff report and based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval. And then also determine it to be categorically exempt from CEQA as identified in the staff report for both sections 15301, which is Class 1 existing facilities, and also section 15061B3 and County Code section 18.36.020D. And since there was no public comment or other received on this item, or that the only people that have the right to appeal are you. And if you choose to appeal, there is an appeal fee of $752, and you can file that appeal on our county website. So thank you very much for coming. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next item, which is the Nichols Minor Land Division. And we'll give it 1 second. All right. And Ms. Petrie, if you could give us a presentation on the Nichols Minor Land Division, PLN 24-00055.
Thank you, Ms. Wydra. This APN is 019.162.1014-000. Adam Fortgang, the applicant, is here requesting approval of a minor land division to subdivide a 0.72 acre parcel into 2 lots. The split would be 40-60. Parcel A would consist of 0.28 acres, and parcel B would be 0.44 acres. Parcel A would be developed with 2 850 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom manufactured home units. One unit will be the primary single-family residence, and the other unit will be an accessory dwelling unit, the ADU. The subject parcel is located at 5879 Campfire West in the unincorporated Sheridan area and is zoned RS, which is residential single-family. The general plan consists of a medium-density residential homes, 2 to 4 dwelling units per parcel. And this parcel is located within the Sheridan Community Planned area. The current property owner is planning on residing on the site, the 60% split, in the existing developed 1,500 square foot single-family residence. Parcel B has an existing shed and RV trailer parked on proposed parcel A. The applicant, who is also the developer, plans on removing the shed and relocating the RV trailer and cleaning up the parcel to place the 2 manufactured homes on that parcel, the 40% of parcel A. On parcel A, upon approval of the minor land division, both manufactured homes will be placed on that parcel. Both units will be utilized as long-term affordable rentals to increase the county's limited supply of affordable housing. The parcel is connected to both public sewer and water. Nichols Minor Land Division is exempt from environmental review in accordance with California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA guidelines, and sections 18.36.170, minor land divisions exemptions of Placer County Code. There were 2 comment letters received for this project. Both were in opposition. The first letter was received May 6, 2025, from Mr. and Mrs. Dunlava. They raised some concerns regarding the proposed land split. They were concerned about there being too many dwelling units on a small lot. I believe the applicant, Adam, was able to speak with them. Yeah. Okay.
You'll have a minute. Keep going.
The second letter was received last night, May 14th, by another neighbor, Mrs. Williams. And I will contact her after our hearing to let her know what's going on. But I am available for any questions or concerns.
Thank you. And environmental health.
Environmental Health supports staff's recommendations, subject to the conditions in the staff report.
Thank you. And engineering and surveying.
Thank you, Ms. Wydra. Engineering and surveying supports staff's recommendations with the conditions listed in the staff report. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Okay, owner or applicants, if you'd like to come on up and state your name for the record. If you have any questions, or I just want to confirm that.
Hi, my name is Adam Fortgang. I'm the applicant on behalf of Stacy Nichols, and I can answer any questions or concerns or comments you have.
Okay. You did receive both public comments. That was, one came in last night. They were both forwarded to the.
I haven't had a chance to send it to Adam yet.
Okay.
But I do have a printout I was going to give you.
Do you want to take a minute and,
Sure.
and look at
Yeah.
what
As
she-
regard to the one with Steve, the other, I spoke with him yesterday at the MAC meeting, and I told him about what the project was entailing, and he was very impressed and all on board. So he just said he needed to speak with me.
Okay.
I don't know about the other one.
I'll give you a second to review it. I'll go ahead and open up public comment, and then I may ask you to come back up if we have any public comment. on this item. So I'm going to go ahead and open up public comment. If you'd like to come on up, state your name for the record, please.
Hi there, my name is Mark Pies. I'm one of the property neighbors over there. And I support this because there's been homeless in there, and then a lot of people, I guess you call them tweakers, go in there. There's a park nearby, and they're always going over there vandalizing things, and people go over there and dump stuff. We've been dealing with this piece of property for quite some time, and the previous owner, Stacy Nichols, was not able to get them out of there, and I was not able to get them out of there, but Adam did get the people out of there. He cleaned up the lot already, and he's done this with several other lots over there, which have been cleaned up. So me and a few of my other neighbors fully support this. Plus, there's a lot of people out there looking for rental properties. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else that would like to comment on the Nichols Minor Land Division? Okay.
I could make a comment on this.
Oh, well, yeah, come on.
Yeah,
back
this
up.
is,
And give me 1 second.
did you read this?
Let me. Are you referring to the Wednesday, May 14th?
The letter from Debbie Williams?
Yeah, I'd rather
Yeah.
not. I don't want to state names for
Okay.
the record, but but it's already out there. Yeah, just give me 1 second. Oh yes, I did see this. So I guess my question to you is the intent is to develop it with single family. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And ADUs associated.
Correct.
There are no changes to the description of the
No,
project.
she had it at 850. The units that I have are 840, but aside from the 10 square foot difference.
Actually, the staff report does say 840.
Okay,
So
perfect.
we're good there. But as long as you comply with your coverage and setbacks and,
Yes.
and things like that. So, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and take action.
I've already built 3 of these units, further down the road, and there was such a high demand, and I was able to get really good tenants in there.
Great.
And displace all the people that this is concerned about.
Great.
So,
Well, thank you for your efforts. Because I am going to go ahead and approve the proposed minor land division in that the proposal is consistent with the zoning district of RS. Also, I am going to approve the project subject to the conditions of approval and based on the findings contained in the staff report. And also find that this project is categorically exempt from environmental review per section 15315 of the CEQA guidelines and section 18.36.170, class 15 of minor land divisions of the Placer County Code. And because we did receive public comments on the request, there is a 10-day appeal period before my decision becomes final. And if you feel adversely affected by my decision, you may file that appeal which can be filed subject to a filing fee of $752 and can be applied online through our Placer County website. And should an appeal be filed, my decision will be set aside until the appeal can be heard by the Planning Commission. So thank you very much for coming. Okay, so moving on. So the next items are the consent items, which are of the Parcel Review Committee. We have 2 items, the Benoit Minor Boundary Line Adjustment and the Miraz Forster Minor Boundary Line Adjustment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to pull any of those or either one of those minor boundary line adjustments from the consent calendar? Would staff like to pull any? Okay, great. So with that, I am going to go ahead and approve the 2 items on consent. Again, Benoit, I think I'm saying that correct, I'm sorry. Minor boundary line adjustment, PLN 22-00495, and the Miraz Forster minor boundary line adjustment, PLN 23-00273. and subject to, as described in the staff reports, and also determine them both to be categorically exempt from the CEQA and per sections 15305 and section 18.36.070, and also the same for both of them. So with that, that concludes our zoning administrator hearing. And thank you very much for coming, as everyone's leaving the room. Thank you.